Welcome Pisces to your monthly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for May of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link because the signs are different. All right, Pisces, so we're going to go ahead and look at what the major events of the month are. If you do want a more specific look at the month, do stay tuned for your weekly where I'll go into the specifics of each of the weeks of this month. But this should give you a very general idea and help you see what's cultivating for you this month in May. So first things first, let's look at where the fast-moving planets are. We've got the Sun, we've got Mercury retrograde, and Venus all in your second house at the beginning of the month. So there's a lot of this energy in your second house. This is the house of your sense of self-worth, your self-reliance. And on an external level, what comes from that is your values, your material values, such as your finances and your material security. So there's a lot of focus here, and I think when you are focused on what you value and enjoying the simple pleasures of life, being grateful for what you have, there's a lot of energy here with the Sun. You're gaining that prana, that life force. And I think you're also learning quite a bit about how to cultivate these values, which translates into that sense of self-worth and whatnot with Mercury retrograde. Maybe some of you are simply rehashing, redoing the finances or the material stuff, rethinking about that. And I think that's excellent because Mercury retrograde is a good time to implement things so that you're learning about them. You're trying new things and experimenting because there is a lot of insight to be gained about these things with Mercury here. Now Venus is here too, so you guys can actually be enjoying those material aspects. In fact, a lot of you could be attracting them to you, such as the finances, the material enjoyments, the good meal, the relaxation, all of that can be very pleasurable with Venus here. So that's where all the fast movers are at the beginning of the month. The first major event is on the 6th when we have a new moon in that second house. So this is a good time to set intentions with your values. It's a good time to reflect. It's a lowering of energy during the new moon, and it's good to kind of sit with it, see where you want to see yourself with your values in terms of what you're cultivating in the next 6 months, in the long sense, maybe even in the short sense, these next 30 days of this month as well, in a sort of short-term area. But in either case, sitting with it and examining what it is that you value and perhaps setting those intentions to implement those as the month unfolds. Now the next major event is that on the 9th, we've got your ruler Jupiter going direct. So a lot of you are perhaps going to be feeling a bit more of this outward momentum. Usually when the chart ruler is retrograde, it's a bit more of this introverted kind of energy or just maybe more reflective. Things don't really manifest on the external all that much. But now that Jupiter's direct, and you'll probably feel this more in the second half of the month, once he gains his momentum, there's more of these outward opportunities. You guys might be gaining more momentum and energy, maybe clarity on your goals and your intentions in life. And this is, I think, very much in regards to your 6th house of your everyday experiences. Your ruler Jupiter in the 6th house is that it's an excellent time for you guys to really be cultivating your work or your health or your diet or your regiments, your self-improvement basically, and your spiritual improvement. And so with all this insight that I think you've been learning about these things the past 5 months, it's good to start implementing that and working forward towards those things that are possible or that you're seeing are possible with Jupiter in that 6th house. Now on the 14th, the Sun does go into Taurus, followed by Venus on the 19th. So there is this shift this month going from the values, which I think it'll still be very much about the values this month. But there's this shift going into your 3rd house of the mental and communicative side of things. So the second half, if you're reading or writing or communicating, maybe doing some light socializing, you can be gaining energy from this. And with Venus, I think you can be enjoying it as well. Now on the 21st, we've got a full moon, and it's going to be right on the cusp between Libra and Scorpio. So this is right on the transformational part of your chart, your 8th and your 9th house cusp. So the key with this is that this could be an illuminating time in terms of what's really meaningful to you in life. What is your life about with the 9th house? What is possible? What is your worldview, right? And maybe even if you've been involved spiritually, consciously spiritually over the past 6 months, it could be a high point of your spiritual transformation and maybe even your life path in some regards. Now, a lot of that stuff is reflective because this full moon is going to be conjoining up to Mars. So things relating to like your life path, for example, are very reflective this first part of the month up until that 21st. Because on the 21st, Mars is going to go back into Libra. So in Scorpio, up until the 21st, it's a good time to re-examine the life path, the adventurous spirit, what is life about, and these kinds of questions. What is possible? What you can do to take action towards them, but again, be malleable in the process with the retrograde. Then as that full moon comes into orb and you start to become a bit more aware of, I think, the life path and the adventurous, overarching thing, as well as what's really meaningful to you, the reflection, I think, does go into more about the meaning, more into intimacy and reflecting on the deeper aspects of yourself, connecting to the truth of yourself, and how when you have a good relationship with the true core of who you are, you accept who you are on the very deep level, then it naturally mirrors in your external environment. And then there's just natural intimacy, and there's more vulnerability and openness with others and just in your external environment in general. So some good things to reflect on with that in terms of the life path and what's really meaningful, I think, can be a good way of cultivating these energies. Now on the 22nd, Mercury does go direct, so a lot of the things that maybe you have been learning about your values or your finances or your sense of self-worth begin to move forward. And I think especially as we go into June, because it does take time for Mercury to gain momentum, there is a bit of this insight coming into the picture, this new shift maybe with your sense of self-worth, with your values, with cultivating these things that are important to you in life. So it's good to work on that and to practice it, because Mercury is a very practical planet, and really put forward these insights that I think you will be learning this month. Now on the 26th, the last aspect is going to be Jupiter squaring up to Saturn, last major one. And this is very important, one, because it's a major aspect involving two very slow-moving planets, but the other is that it's your ruler. And so since August of last year, with this aspect, it's been showing that while there is possibilities with the work, with the daily activities, with your time management, energy management, your routine, there's this seriousness that needs to be implemented with the life path. Saturn in your 9th house has been helping you really ground a more practical worldview, maybe a more realistic worldview, and how you can cultivate what's possible, and your life path and your purpose, but it does take persistence. It takes hard work. It takes patience. It takes that grounded approach. So putting that Saturn energy, that grounded approach, into those possibilities, as well as into your work and your health and your diet and regimens, is a really good way of working with this. And also seeing too the possibilities, right? Because Jupiter's involved, so it's seeing both sides. Like I was saying, seeing the possibilities with the work, but also seeing possibilities in terms of how you can expand your horizons, how you can see that there is things larger than what we normally see in life, right? And that's what really accentuates that adventurous spirit, which can translate into a greater, more optimistic worldview, which is going to be assisting and helping you with that very realistic worldview with Saturn. So you're essentially combining these two elements together, and I think because it's your ruler in particular, taking that nice, slow and steady approach to cultivating just things in your life in general will be very important with this. All right, Pisces, so have an excellent month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time.